Hello and welcome to the Conversations with Julie podcast. I'm your host, Julie Gillespie. This show is a safe space to come together to understand how conversations are what connects us. Today is a compilation of some of the questions that we asked each of our guests along the way. Most importantly, a conversation can. We know, and we've come to learn so much over the past few years, that a conversation can create a space for belonging, is what connects us, can help resolve some issues in terms of mental health, well-being, inclusion, safety. All of these aspects do start with a conversation. So in this episode, we bring all of our guests together where we get to unpack each of their answers to see what a conversation can do. Fill in the blank. A conversation can.
As probably cliche as it sounds, a conversation can actually be life-changing. To someone who is in a really uncomfortable situation, and not only just that person, say me, having a uncomfortable conversation with you right now, no. But I think it can be life-changing to both of those people because as we know, your aha moments, and we've had one today, comes through discomfort.
Yeah.
And having that uncomfortable situation, you're going to get really good outcomes that will sit with you potentially forever and can potentially just change the course of your life.
Yeah, I love that. So, yeah, it gets really expansive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Fill in the blank. A conversation can
be a dance.
I love that.
There's a give and a take. There's a backwards and a forwards. There's a fluidity. And which is not to suggest that there's a preset dance, but there's a sense where you're flowing and moving with whatever space that you have and you're paying attention to the responses of the partner with you're dancing with.
Fill in the blank. A conversation can
never go wrong if you've left your expectations at the door.
Holy fuck.
Oh. So my thing about conversations is stop being so needy. Like,
this is why I love you so hard.
Yeah, sorry. But that's my thing, right? If I go into a conversation with all my expectations, all my needs, no one's living up to that. They're going to fail.
I'm not living up to my own expectations.
No, I'm not living up to my own expectations. I'm sure as shit not having someone else live up to mine. I am bound for disappointment.
So a conversation can
never disappoint you. But only if you go in with no expectations. If you think it's going to be hugely successful, you're going to smash this out of the park and how amazing are you going to be, guess what? You're about to fuck this up.
Because you're talking at someone then, aren't you?
Yeah, because you're like, here's my agenda. Like, this is what I've got to do today and I will get through this very, very much. And who cares what you're saying? Like, I'm not listening.
I already switched off.
That's it. And then if you go in thinking, I'm going to smash this person, I'm going to be really aggressive, I'm going to get it. Doesn't work. Like, whatever your needs are in that conversation, just put them aside. Write them on a bit of paper if you really need to get them out. Leave them outside the room. Just check your shit at the door is kind of my strategy, because I'm like, if you go in, no matter how hard the conversation is going to be, it will still be successful if you just go in and listen and be
without your own baggage.
Yeah, no baggage, nothing that you need out of it. Because essentially, if your needs aren't met, you're going to have grief, you're going to have anger. There's a whole lot of emotions that go with that, right? And they're all going to come out in that conversation. So just don't do it is my thing.
I'm so with you. You know that though.
Oh, yeah.
Fill in the blank. A conversation can
empower you to have success.
Because that's not just sales, that's everything.
That's everything.
I so sit in that. Can empower you to have success. I so sit in that. I love that. Let's fill in the blank. A conversation can.
A conversation can open the door.
To anything, right?
Anything. The world's your oyster.
Fill in the blank. A conversation can.
have a positive outcome even if it starts with a negative topic.
That's cool. Yeah. Just takes the right intention, doesn't it?
That's right.
Fill in the blank. A conversation can.
Transform relationships, and so within a workplace, transform cultures.
Yes. Love that answer. Thank you so much. Fill in the blank. A conversation can.
Conversation can be a gateway to connection.
Yeah, that. Yeah, it's a gateway. Absolutely. Fill in the blank. A conversation can.
Oh, Jesus.
It's not a simple question.
I'll give you a line.
Ooh, oh, I love a line.
A conversation can allow someone to feel a little bit more at ease with something they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
A conversation could lead to someone reaching out for help for the first time. In some cases, a conversation could even save a life.
Yeah.
Oh, here. I'm with him.
In the podcast where I went through my own self-reflection of my process and my journey over the years, I didn't particularly answer this question of a conversation can. So I want to take the opportunity to do that here in response to all of these that I've heard over this past year, but also from asking this within mental health first aid training or working with organisations and doing resilient conversations and things like that. Because I've seen what a conversation can do. I've seen it at work. It's not just asking a question, it's actually an action. It's an intentional, purpose-driven action to share space with someone and create a space for someone. And it reminds me now of the Viktor Frankl quote, which is, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. A conversation gives us the ability to create that space, to be able to take a breath, to be able to slow down, and to be able to own how we turn up and how we choose to respond. When we're in a position of starting a conversation with someone, I want you to know that the purpose of that conversation is to help create a space for someone else, especially when they're not able to do it for themselves, especially when they're not able to, allowed to, or have the capacity to create that space for themselves. It's not about creating a safe space for them necessarily. It's creating a space for them to choose courage to turn up into that space so they can have a choice, have their freedom, to be able to grow and to be able to learn in a way that looks right for them. So thank you for listening for the year. Remember to go back and have a look at some of the other conversations that we've had, and share these conversations with someone you would like to start a conversation with, especially coming up into this new year.